Hi everyone, welcome you all. Previously we have seen how to use a return statement to return a one value. And today we are going to discuss how to return multiple values, and then we are going to discuss what are local variables, global variables, right? So let's get started. So previously we have seen how to return a value, but what if I want to return multiple values? Here in this example I am able to enter get only one value or able to return a one value, but here I want to return multiple values. Let's say here I want to return a sum as well as count. So what I'm going to do is use a len function, and let's have vals, which gives you length of the variable. And if I want, I can simply use a mean also as divided by len of vals. So it returns three values. Now first is the sum, the second is count, and the third is mean value. Okay, now let us try to use this function. I'm going to get rid of these things and try to print a simple variables a comma b comma c. I'm going to have three variables since I am returning three values, and let us call our sum arg function, and then specify values. Let's say 45 comma 69 comma let's say 10. Get rid of all these because I do not want to take input this time, and let us execute this piece of a code and see. Now you can see my program is successful. That means I do not have any syntax error. Now let us try to print these values and see the result. Okay, I'm going to have more simple values for simple calculations. I'm going to pass 111, so its mean is 1, count is 3, and sum is 3. Okay, so let's do it. Okay, I can specify 2. That will be more easy to understand. Print a comma b comma c, and let us run this now. Now you can see my output. So the value of a is 6, since at the first time or for the first time we are going to calculate the sum and return it. So first value is sum, 6 is given. I think that is really easy to understand. Then we have a b, the value of b is 3, that means count, and the last one is the sum, that is 2.0, average, that is 2.0. So this is how we can easily return multiple values. This is not always possible. This is possible in Python only. Otherwise we can return list or dictionaries. That's a different story. We are going to discuss that thing also. Okay, now let's move ahead and try to see what are local and global variables again. Okay, so I'm going to define a variable called x is equals to, let's say this time it's a global, and I'm going to define a function. Let's demo is the function name. I don't want to pass any parameter this time, and just a variable called y is equals to, let's say, a local. And if I try to print this x here in the function, let's say in function we have, let's say, x, in, let's say, main we have x is equals to, okay, and let us execute this one, and if you see we have x in main. Okay, main is called and executed, so this line gives me in main x. Let us execute our function or call our function demo, and then we will see whether my function is executing properly or not. Now you can see my function is also calling, and here we have the value of x global. So that means if you define a variable outside the function, then it is treated as global and is visible throughout the program, and its lifetime is throughout the program life. Okay, now what if I try to print the y? Okay, let's print main y is equals to, let's say, specify y, and try to execute this. I know that I will straight away run into error, since it will say y is not defined, right? So y we cannot see here because it is defined inside the function, and this y is visible inside the function only. Let's try to print this y in function y is equals to comma y, and let us run this program and see. Okay, before that I have to make this line as a comment, and let us try to run this program. Now you can see I'm able to print y here but not here because y is defined inside the function. Similarly, if you have another function, let's say def abc is my new function name, it can accept a parameter but I do not need it right now, and if I try to print this x, it will successfully do. But if I try to print y, let's do it some other time. Next, okay, try to execute, it executes perfectly fine, but I now if I try to print y and call the function abc this time, and let us execute this and let us run this program now and see, I'm getting an error. Now what is this error? You can read file this use module .py line 10 abc. Okay, print y, name error, name y is not defined, and this is in the function. Sometimes you can see a very long message, error message, because it is a hierarchical way of representing it. First of all, error is raised from the function abc, and then it is raised inside this function in print y statement. So if you click on this, it will take you to that particular line. Control click. Okay, obviously I know the reason, because y is not defined inside this function, it is defined inside the above function. So here y is not accessible since y has a local scope. I think, hope you got it. Now let us try one more thing. Let us get rid of this. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to access this value x is equals to x plus 3. Let's say I want global 3 here, I am expecting the output global 3. Okay, let us try to execute this piece of a code and check whether my program executes or not. Now you can see unbound local error, local variable x reference before assignment. Okay, so now you can see here x is treated as local, and in this function we are not able to identify this x. Okay, why? Because x is unbound. Here you have tried to use this x, and this x is treated as local, so you can see I'm not able to recognize global variable if I have the local variable with the same name as global variable. Now if I try to use like this here, let's say 4, now instead of a global I should get 4, and here I should get global. Okay, let's execute this program and see the output. Here is my output. In main, x is equals to, you can see global. That proves that I'm able to access this variable this time. And when I am printing this line in function x, you can see I'm printing 4. So in function I can see only local variable if we have local and global variable with the same name. Now let us see how we can utilize x. Okay, so what I need to do is I need to specify global x here, and let us try to print this time, and I'm going to copy this statement and paste it after the function called abc. Okay, and I can give a number, let's say 2/t, and here I'm going to specify 1/t. Okay, now let us execute and examine the output. Now here we have 1 in main, that is global. So first of all my program is executed, and first line that is executed is this line, so I'm getting unaltered value of x, that is global. Okay, and then we have demo function called, and here my program goes here y is equals to local, so and the values changes, global is equals to x. Now new value for x is transferred to 4 or assigned to 4, and here I do not have a local variable, I'm using a global variable, so original value of this x is overridden. And then when I try to print this x, 4 is printed. Now you can see in function 4, and then y for the value of y, and then when I return to this statement, it gives me 4. See here, x is equals to 4. Previously it was global. So this is how we can access global variable by using a global keyword. Now let us discuss one more thing, that is called a non-local variables. A non-local variables are used in nested function whose local scope is not defined. This means that the variable can be either in a local variable, can be neither in the local nor the global scope. Let us see with the example. So let us get rid of all this. Hope you have noted down, and I'm going to delete all. Okay, so let's define the function. We have def, let's call it outer, and here I define a x is equals to, let's say, a local this time, and I'm going to use another function inside the function def inner, and then in this inner I'm going to define a non-local x, and then let us change the value of this x. X is equals to, let's say, non-local, and then try to print this non-local, let's say inner function x is equals to comma, let's have this x printed, and then let's come out of the function and then try to call this inner from the outer function, and then again print this x. Okay, so let's print this x. Outer function x is equals to, let's print the x, and here let's say after function call, and let's copy this piece of a code and paste it here also, indent it properly. Let's be before, let's, okay, we are done with this example. Let's print this, let's call this outer function outer, and let's run this program and see the output. Now let us examine the output. So here is my output. Before function call, outer function x is equals to local. So you can see when I call this outer, my compiler goes and execute the function outer, and in this scenario it creates the variable x and assigns the value local, and then we are printing this. So obviously output should be local. Okay, so this proves that. Now we have defined a function, this one, and after defining a function we are going to call it. See here I have called this function so that this piece of a code is executed. If this statement is not here, then you will see the value of x is equals to local only. So here I have executed, and my function executes and execute this piece of our code. So non-local variable, that means the variable which we have defined here. So here, from here now, whenever I call or specify x, it will be my above function x. Okay, functions variable x. Okay, so now x is equals to non-local, so it modifies the existing value of x from local to non-local, and then try to print it. So you will get a inner function x is equals to non-local. Okay, and then if you try to print this x, it will give you non-local since the value is changed. Okay, now let us remove this statement and check the output again. Okay, now let us run this program and see what happens. Now see here, first executed local, that is fine, and then in the inner non-local, that is also fine, but here see my original value is not changed. Here we have a new instance of x. Okay, so if you want to use the variable which is defined in the outer function, you can use non-local. Okay, so this is another thing that I want to tell you. So let us wind up this video, and hope you have learned what are global variable, local variables, and what are scope and lifetime. Okay, so goodbye and have a nice day. Bye bye.